Hello and welcome to episode 119 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Joining me once again is the glorious League Freak. You can find on Twitter at League Freak. How you going there, mate?
Going really well. I'm in the Christmas spirit. Hey, how about you?
I'm in my pajamas.
That's the Christmas spirit, I guess. You're waiting for Saint Nick to turn up. I know he's about a week away, week and a half away.
Yeah, I've got the bear trap set up in the bottom of the chimney.
Bear trap.
So when that bastard comes down, I'm taking all the toys. Sorry, everybody else.
Just keeping it for yourself. Do you put obviously you've got a little girl. Do you have like cookies and stuff that you put out for Santa?
Well, I'm trying to eat a bit better, so maybe we'll do something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I just hope that Santa gives Nathan the 21 speed mountain bike that he deserves.
Wow. If Santa was his magnificent wife, Kelly, he'd have had about 50 of them by now.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think that it's only fair that Nathan should independently go out and buy himself a 21 speed mountain bike. He doesn't need to consult with anyone. I mean, he is the leader. He is the number one. He's the alpha. He should just go out and get it. What do you reckon?
Well, what he should do is go and get that bike and then send an invoice to Santa and say, you owe me this money.
That's a good idea, hey? And just leave it like in the lounge room with some wrapper paper and some sticky tape and just a sign on it says, wrap me, sweetheart.
And it just gets done.
Yeah, it just will happen because, you know, what Nathan wants, Nathan gets.
Except the bike.
Yeah, except the bike. You know.
But we're working on it.
Yeah, we'll get you there, Nathan. Don't worry. There's plenty of things we're trying to get you, Nathan, and the bike is just one of those things.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
All right, well, now we've got the important stuff out of the way. Let's get down to the shit.
Yeah, let's wrap the show up.
Kyle Flanagan. He's in the news hoping to reunite with his father sometime down the track. Now, for those who are unaware, his father is Shane Flanagan, the band coach. So I'm not too sure what Kyle's plans are to work under his coach. Possibly move to the Dragons down the line.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was kind of not long ago being coached by his dad at the Sharks in some capacity. And, you know, I mean, something gets me about when players are holding onto a security blanket of some type. And I'm not saying that this is what Kyle's doing. Maybe it was just tossed up to him. It was like, yeah, sure, I'd like to, you know, be coached by my dad again. But I don't know. I just think that I worry when like players are like, oh, I could never leave my hometown and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit weird, I think.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you'd ever have is to have a relative of any type as your coach. Because they'd know you too well.
Yeah, and like, how do you? You know, we've said this before. They're not your mate. They're a coach. At the same time, how can they be a dad as well? You know, yeah. I just don't know how that works. And look, it seems to work all right at Penrith so far. But yeah. What?
Well,
what?
I mean, it's a team that was in the finals, and now it's a team that's gone busted.
That's true.
It's worked well.
But have you seen our bus? I mean, it's a bus. It's got like
does it have wheels back on it yet?
Look, we don't look at minor things like wheels, okay? Or if it's working, but it looks pretty.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with that. It does look bloody nice. So, do you reckon? I suppose we've got to ask the question here. Will Kyle go to the Dragons and Shane when his ban ends, which could probably be next week for all we know, the way the NRL works. And obviously he's a better coach than Paul McGregor because, let's be honest, a push bike is a better coach than Paul McGregor.
That's true.
So he'll obviously take over from there. Will Kyle go to the Dragons, or will Shane Flanagan realise how much of a shit show it is at the Dragons and that he'll never get the coaching gig there because Paul McGregor's got a mortgage on the gig, and then he goes over to the Roosters and coaches over there?
See, I don't think Trent Robinson is leaving the Roosters anytime soon, so I think Kyle would have to go to the Dragons. The problem is I don't see any way salary cap-wise that would work. And with, Shane Flanagan running the club by that stage, I just don't know how he'd find a way to fit his son under the salary cap, under the current rules, because you have to stick to the rules, you know?
Well, there's an easy way around it, and that is Shane says, like, you know what? I want to be paid $3 million a year because that's not in the salary cap. Mm-hmm. And then he just gives Kyle pocket money.
That's a good idea. Why the fuck aren't we doing that at Penrith? Maybe we are, actually. I think we are when I think about
it. It's just say, okay, Nathan, it's your turn to empty the dishwasher. Here's $300,000 for doing your chores.
That'd be awesome, hey? All of a sudden, I think having your dad as a coach is an awesome idea.
That makes good sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm back in on dads that are coaches.
So long as they're good with the money.
Yeah, I wonder how much he is earning as an assistant coach at the Dragons.
Ooh.
Because they're paying McGregor so much, they couldn't be paying Flanagan heaps.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know if Flanagan would take up a job on the cheap, especially a job being Paul McGregor's second in command. That's pretty degrading. I'd rather be banned than do that.
On his resume, if he goes to another club, he says, well, I worked under Paul McGregor.
There's 3 years missing here. I thought you were at the Dragons. No, it wasn't me. No, that was my brother, Steve.
Different Flanagan.
Yeah, different Flanagan. It wasn't me. No, I refused to work there.
Yeah. I wonder, you know what I would love to see his contract that says how much his salary goes up if he's made the head coach. That would be.
I bet it's quite a bit.
I bet it is. They're going to start doing the sums on that, you know. They're like, if say they start the season off really poorly, I wonder how much the calculator comes out and they're like, okay, look, if we continue down this road, we're going to lose this much in merch sales, this much in tickets, and I wonder how much it comes down to that rather than just football.
It's a good question. I think because Shane is not allowed to be a head coach for, 2 years?
2 more years, yeah.
I wonder if they would just give McGregor the arse and just put, I don't know, the janitor as the head coach.
A patsy.
Just for all the press stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Who could they get to do a job like that? Trent Barrett. He'd probably do it.
Matthew Elliott?
Nah, come on now.
I can't imagine. Been through enough?
Yeah, I don't want to do that Dragons fan. Can you imagine Matthew Elliott's style with Shane Flanagan's style? That'd be a clash of cultures.
That's a big clash.
Yeah.
But he's going to say, right, we've got to make our defence stronger. The forwards have got to be stronger. We're going to be working through the middle and they'll be going. Yeah, you know, I read the tea leaves in the cup the other day, and I think what we've got to do is a softly approach. We don't want to hurt anyone. Let's be fair. Let's just try and run around them. I've seen it in touch footy. It works quite well. We could do that.
I imagine Matthew Elliott, he's like, chill out, man. Peace, not love, and all this shit, you know? Just
dude, have you seen Dude all the time?
Dude, we got to run more on first receiver plays, dude. I want our completion rate to be 90+%, dude.
Imagine the halftime talk. Punter's in there. He's going, rah, rah.
And then Matthew Elliott walks in.
He saunters over with his hands in his pockets.
He pulls them out. He goes, dude, my hands are huge. They could touch everything. Oh, I feel it. Do you feel it, boys?
You should just go out there and don't worry about cranky Shane. Just go out there and win. That's all you got to do. That's the game plan. Just go out and win. Trust yourselves.
Imagine if that was his thing. Shane Flanagan leaves and Matthew Elliott goes, wow, he's so cranky. Don't worry about him. Mr. Cranky Pants.
Just imagine Benny with that after the players have gone back, he goes back to Shane and he puts his arm around him and says, "Mate, you really need to calm down." Just before Shane Flanagan pops one in the mouth.
Oh, jeez. I hope this happens now. I'm sorry, Dragons fans. This would be great. This would be like the Odd Couple.
The halftime conversations in the dressing shed, that would be the most entertaining thing about watching Dragons games.
It really would be.
You just put Shane that 10-minute break on a 10-minute on the loop.
He's got all of these veins popping out of his head. Meanwhile, Matthew Elliott's in the corner with the bubble blower, just blowing bubbles across the whole team.
Sprinkling fairy dust on everyone.
Yeah.
You've all got magic powers now.
Yeah.
Believe. He comes in the next time at full time. He's dressed up like Elsa out of the ice. What is it? The Frozen movie. Let it go. Let it go.
He says, I've got a special weapon we're going to use this season, fellas. And he opens up a suitcase and the bright light comes on him and he pulls out a fucking little wand and he goes around going, "Ding, you're going to win. Ding, you're going to win."
This has to happen.
Yeah, I want this so badly.
I'll buy a Dragons membership if this happens.
Yeah, so will I. I'll actually go to Cogra for an NRL game. Yeah. And park like 3 suburbs away in front of someone's bloody driveway. It'll be great.
It will. It'll be the rebirth of Matthew Elliott's career. It sounds fantastic.
It really does. No wonder the players loved him, eh? That'd be great.
That's the thing. I think too many of the players pissed themselves laughing at halftime to be concentrating on the football. Now, move on to the next bit of business. Sonny Bill Williams is going to be playing for Samoa, I suppose, if he's good enough, which I suppose with the salary he's got, it'd be hard not to say that he will be.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He's apparently in talks with somebody, but not the coach. There's actually a quote here on the New Zealand Herald website from the coach, Matt Parrish, and he says, Sonny Bill would be massive for our team in terms of what we are trying to achieve. My indications are that he is very keen. I definitely think playing for Samoa would appeal to Sonny at this stage of his career. So, you know, he hasn't talked to Sonny Bill Williams himself. But if Williams is in talks with somebody to play for Samoa, that'd be fantastic. I believe they play England in the mid-season tests. And, you know, you'd think he'd have an eye on playing in the World Cup for them, too, if he did that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just imagine if Sonny Bill Williams come back and they play against England and they beat England.
Oh,
it's not too far-fetched, but that's pretty... that'd be a pretty amazing return to International Rugby League for him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that did to the rankings. I'm sure England would end up in first place somehow.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Mm.
There's no bias there. But that's how it works.
It's a very complicated process that takes into account a lot of different parameters, none of which have anything to do with results.
This is exactly right. It's a technical process. That's
yeah. Look, I know it's difficult to follow, and nobody does, but has nothing to do with results at all.
Yeah. That's why the actual full process of how the rankings work is not published anywhere.
Exactly.
Too technical.
Yeah, no one could follow it.
No chance. No chance at all. Something else that's been hard to follow is Josh Addo-Carr. Is he leaving? Is he staying? There's talk that he's not happy with having one more year to go on his contract and he wants to move to Sydney for family reasons, and it looks like the club are reluctant to let him leave.
Yeah, no wonder. They're letting go a lot of players at the moment. Players moving all over the place. I believe Vunivalu is actually looking to leave a year early now, so he would not be playing for the Storm next season. He was supposed to leave at the end of next year. And they've moved on a lot of players. Croft, obviously, is the big one.
Will Chambers went to Japanese rugby.
Yep. Good on Will. Get that cash. And... yeah, it's a weird one. I can see why they wouldn't want to release him early from his contract. But at the same time, I mean, do you want an unhappy player at your club? And they're clearing the decks. I'd love to know what for. I don't know if they've said to themselves, look, we can't do it with this squad, or maybe they've got to a point with their contracts that they feel as though the money is in the wrong areas of the team, but they're clearing the decks for a reason. I still wonder if they'd get Mitchell.
I reckon they'd be close to having the cash for him. I mean, you got to throw in Curtis Scott's also left the club as well, another centre.
Mm-hmm.
And a young forward who's just gone to the Warriors as well. I'll try and say his surname, and I'm sorry if I completely botch it up because I'm certain I will. Tino Fa'asamoa. There we go.
You did good.
Quite a funny article about him because the Fox Sports has got him. They're talking up about how big he is. This 197 centimetre teenager has just been signed by the Warriors, and then if you have a look at the photo caption, they've not spelled his name as Tino. They've spelled it as Tiny.
It's the complete opposite of Tiny.
Very much so. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Good signing for the Warriors. Pity he's going to have a crap coach to run him over there. Hopefully he doesn't pay too much attention to him and he keeps playing like he has been for the Storm.
Yeah, it's. I just think with the Warriors at this point, everybody except RTS, you could get rid of all of them and just bring in a bunch of whoever, and I'm sure that they would do better than the Warriors have been doing in recent years.
Would you think Trent Barrett would be a better coach than Stephen Kearney?
Yes.
I'm coming around to that theory as well.
Yeah. They should take him from Penrith, eh?
Yeah. Maybe do a swap.
No, it's all right. They can keep them both. I'll drive him to the airport.
You pay for his airfares.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I'll get on the plane with him just to make sure he stays on the fucking plane.
Chain him to the seat.
Yeah. It'd be like in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yes.
You haven't seen it. It's all right.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the Storm have lost a lot of players. I don't think they're going to make a play for one big-name player, given how much they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Also throwing the fact that I dare say Cameron Smith's going to retire at the end of next season as well. So there's another huge chunk of cash that's coming to their cap as well.
Yeah, it's just not like the Storm.
No, but they're going to have close to at least $2 million, I reckon, in their cap.
Yeah. I tell you, and I've always said this about all of these players that come off contract, best place to go is the Storm, 100%. And if they did go after Mitchell, man, it'd be a beautiful place for him to play. He'd be out of the spotlight a little bit. He'd be under the best coach in the game, I believe. And, he'd be in a club. There's some really good young players there. I mean, they're not going anywhere, the Storm. So, yeah, but I kind of agree with you. With all of the players they've lost, they can't just focus on one star player and think that that's going to replace who they've let go. Like, this feels like maybe they've got, I don't know, it feels like they've got to a point where they've said, look, we feel as though we've got a bunch of super, super talented juniors, and we either bring them all through right now this season and get the most out of it, or we end up losing them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon there may be a chance that if they don't look at Latrell Mitchell, they might look at Kalen Ponga with the belief that they might be able to get him cheaper than what he wants because they can offer him the successful club of the Melbourne Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brandon Smith I don't think he's going to be the hooker at Melbourne for very long. I think young Harry Grant coming through is going to slot into that 9 spot pretty quickly once he makes a regular starting spot there.
Mm-hmm.
The forwards for the Storm look to be pretty well intact and solid, but they're going to need a 6. And I think Bellamy would probably see Ponga as someone he could work with at 5'8".
Yeah, although they've got Cameron Munster there. I wonder if he would look at Ponga.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the alternative half they got with him though. Is it Jerome Hughes or? I mean, that's probably what it's going to be now, and he's not really a half.
No. It showed when he moved to the halves. I don't know why they moved him to the halves. Crofter really fell out of favour really quickly for them, and I'm not sure why, but I just think that Ponga, I guess in their structured style of play, somebody with an X factor like Ponga would be exactly kind of what you need. And Billy Slater brought things like that to the team. And we all talked about how well Hughes played as a replacement. And obviously he wasn't a Billy Slater, but he did a lot of things right that you would want from a replacement. But that X factor was missing, and maybe they've come to a determination where they're missing that, and they need to go out and splurge on that. Next year, the year after next. I'm sorry, it's late.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I think maybe Chase Ponga, move Hughes to centre. That fills up a spot in the back line. Then they've just got to find a winger, I guess. And I mean, go to Fiji and take your pick.
Yeah, you go to Fiji, right? Yeah, hail a taxi and you say, listen, just get out the car. We're going to Australia. You're playing on the wing for the Melbourne Storm. And you know what? I bet that they do well.
They would. They'd be fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
That's the thing about the Storm. I got no worries about the Storm finding wingers because every time you think, man, they've just lost a really good winger, they find someone who scores 20 tries in their first year.
Yeah. They will be perfectly fine. And so that's the thing. I reckon if they get Ponga for... Let's be conservative given what Ponga is reportedly chasing. If they got him for, say, 1.2 a year, that still leaves them with close to, $800,000 to get, one or two backs and maybe a bench forward or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about getting star players. I mean, that's $250,000-$300,000 for each of those players as depth players that would be in the 17, I guess.
Yeah,
and that'd be fine.
Yeah, it's interesting that I just think we've never seen something like this from the Storm. They will lose. I feel as though they don't lose players they don't want to lose. Outside of when Folau went, he was really the only one that I feel as though they really would have loved to have kept. Inglis, they kind of had to let go because of salary cap and the whole salary cap saga. But
and Kronk for his missus.
Who's that?
And Kronk for his missus.
Yeah, because she's got a career doing something. And so, yeah, it's interesting. Right.
You're all over that news, aren't you?
Yeah,
she's got a career doing something. Who cares?
She's doing something, I don't know.
She's a journo on Fox Sports.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
There you go. See, you learned something on here.
Yeah, this is an educational podcast, especially for the people on it.
Yeah. Now, there's an interesting article that came up on Fox Sports.
Yes.
Yes. It was about Latrell Mitchell.
Ooh, who wrote it?
Staff writers.
Oh, I love staff writers. They write the best stuff.
I'm getting the impression that James Hooper has started to get a bit self-conscious about how many articles he's writing about Latrell Mitchell. And so he's just, you know what? I've got to go and talk to some people to get some advice, possibly even some medication to deal with this problem I've got. And I think the time away has allowed staff writers to really blossom and become pretty much his replacement.
Yeah, I think the time has come. I think that his reign is over. Staff writers has stepped up. It's interesting. I wonder if they stare in the mirror and try and work out their angry look in the mirror for 4 hours a day.
Jeez, I hope so. You can't lose that sort of personality.
No, just bubbly and wonderful.
So, Staff Writers has written that Latrell Mitchell has rejected an $800,000 a season offer at the Chooks, but he may settle for exactly that at South Sydney. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, it's not because of the content, because let's be honest, it's garbage, but it's got a word quoted in it. It's our first quote in the whole Latrell Mitchell thing. Yeah.
Nice. What's the word?
Hoping.
Well, lock it in.
As I said to you before we started, that may have been taken from when Latrell Mitchell may have said 4 or 5 months/years ago that he was hoping to score 3 tries on the weekend. And they just say, just take that word and attach the rest of the article because there's no other words around it. It just says, according to the Sunday Telegraph, Mitchell is, quote, hoping to join the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, well, that's the most that we've got out of them, hey?
I'd have thought if there was a quote from Mitchell saying something along those lines, then maybe they would have put the rest of it in instead of just one word. I mean, what's the point of quoting one word? But then again, it's one word more than what James Hooper's quoted.
For 6 months.
For 6 months, yeah.
I wonder if, say, one of them rang up Latrell Mitchell, and man, if I was a player, one of these people rang me up on my phone, I would be so angry. But I wonder if one of the people from Fox Sports rang up Latrell Mitchell and said, "Hey, Latrell, we just want a quote from you." I wonder if they get a 2-word response from Latrell Mitchell.
Oh, I don't know. The last line of this article says, the Roosters have reportedly, yet it hasn't been reported anyway, told Mitchell that they'd release him from the final year of his contract to join the West Tigers in 2020. But it's unclear if they'd do the same if he were to sign with South Sydney. Although, actually, the article says, but it's unclear if they'd do the same if he were to sign with Sydney.
Sydney. Wow.
So, sorry, South Sydney. It looks like you've changed your name to be the Roosters twice.
Sydney.
Sydney.
I like it.
I want to see them on all their jumpers next year.
Tell you what, 1995 in rugby league, call yourself Sydney, you're onto a winner.
How could anyone beat that? You can't be more Sydney than Sydney.
Exactly. It reminds me of the IPL where they had the Kings, and the Kings' name was taken. So somebody still wanted the Kings, so now they've got the Super Kings as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's just made the other Kings seem really redundant after that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to the supermarket to get headache tablets.
Yeah.
They've got like extra strength, and they've got rapid ones, and then they've got just the old normal ones. You go, why?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like, how does a painkiller focus on, like, for headaches only? I don't understand how that works either.
But a bit further, I mean, if you've got an option to have your headache removed quickly, why would you even consider having the slower option? Who's sitting there going, I'm kind of comfortable with this headache. I'm happy for it to just go at the normal rate that headaches go away with normal paracetamol. And if that's the case, why get the Panadol or the branded ones? Why not just go for the home brand ones down there? It's going to do the same bloody thing.
Yeah, the black and gold paracetamol.
These people need to work on their game. Stop selling the old thing.
How would you flog Panadol then? What would you call it?
Just get rid of all the other crappy ones and just have the rapid ones.
Just rapid.
Just go rapid. And then just have super rapid.
Super rapid.
Be like the tyres on Formula 1 cars. Instead of just having soft as the lowest one last year, they went to ultra soft, and then they went to super soft, and then they went to ultra soft, and then they went to hyper soft, and they went, this is getting a bit silly, isn't it?
Yeah, when they started doing that, I was out. Like, because they changed the rules. I didn't pick up on the rule change. And then I'm watching it, and they're going like, we've got like 15 different tyre choices for this one, and they've gone for the ultra soft. And I was like, man, I'm out. I don't care.
Yeah, it's instead of having hard, medium, soft, it's like hyper soft, ultra soft, super soft, soft, then medium, then hard.
It's ridiculous.
I often wondered, why didn't they have like a hyper hard? Just go the full scale in the other direction. Hyper medium.
That sounds like what would happen if you crushed up a little blue pill with a bunch of blow.
I'll have to take your word for that.
I'd never done either. I just think guessing, you know.
Yeah.
Hyper hard.
If you're struggling to walk.
Oh man, I am censoring myself so hyper hard right now.
It's been a while since I've had an episode this sort of I'll call it loose.
Yeah, we've been due for it though, hey?
We kind of have.
Although we did have that one we weren't able to put out
Yeah, that went off the rails more than loose.
That went somewhere bad.
Tamworth.
Yeah.
Back on track. Braden Williami is off to the House of Mary after leaving Catalan Dragons. The big news was revealed in a stunning and thorough article on the BBC, which totaled 76 words. That's only 24 words more than my intro to every podcast of this
Yeah.
show.
It was a good one. I couldn't believe it. I kept on scrolling and I scrolled back up and I'm like, man, half this page hasn't loaded up. And then, no, it was the whole article. They got the bare bones out.
They really did. I mean, that's editing at its most hyper hard.
Yeah. Shit.
Let's just cut out all of this text. We just want the fact.
It's like they might as well have just put on, he's gone, deal with it.
Yeah. No one cares. It's BBC.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you a question there without warning. What things do you do where you'd say 76 words or more and keep it reasonably clean?
What do you mean if I'd say 76 words or more?
Well, I reckon I'd say more than 76 words when I go to the toilet.
Oh, wow. I don't talk like that.
Sometimes you've got a fight on your hands.
What would take me 76 words normally? Let me think.
Speaking to that prompt at the start of every phone call when you go to ring the bank.
See, I don't ring my bank. I do everything on apps and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you used to do that. We didn't used to have apps. We used to have to call them up every now and then.
Yeah.
Don't get too techie on me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think something like I would say I don't know. I use a pretty good economy of words anyway.
That's true.
Yeah,
although we did say more than 76 words when we spoke about Nathan at the top of the episode.
That's true, but I mean, that is an economy of words. If we were to elaborate on how good Nathan is, then, I mean, I'd still be talking about how amazing he is and how lucky his wife is too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, we do have some breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from the International Rugby League website, and this only came out about half an hour ago.
Yep.
The International Rugby League report into the Tongan National Rugby League team recommends governance reform. You don't say.
They took 2 months to work that out.
Yeah, that took a while. The IRL has recommended a package of reforms for Tongan Rugby League following the conclusion of a 2-month investigation into the operation and governance of Tongan National Rugby League. The investigation, which included a mission to Tonga by independent investigator Gareth Holmes, who met with stakeholders, was initiated after concerns were raised from the Office of the Prime Minister of Tonga, the Tonga Sports Council, the RFL, the ARL Commission, and the Rugby League Players Association, which led to the suspension of TNRL's membership of International Rugby League in late September. The report concluded that changes to the governance structure will support a more effective, unified organisation that better reflects the complexion of the Tongan Rugby League movement, and the recommendations are, they've only got 3.
Mm-hmm.
1, the formation of an independent implementation committee to liaise with stakeholders throughout the reform process. I don't think they spelled that correctly. 2, a board whose positions are balanced between multiple electorates, including players, clubs, and diaspora and independents. 3, new rules to regulate club status as voting members of the General Assembly. So there you go.
Okay. It sounds a little bit like something the NRL would do. It's like they said our 3 recommendations as that we appoint a committee, and we appoint a committee, and we appoint a committee.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, well done, Tonga. Everyone's got a job on the island now.
Oh, shit. Hopefully it works for them. I mean, obviously they needed big changes. And yeah, fingers crossed that it all works out for Tongan Rugby League.
Absolutely. Because we need them because they are bloody strong right now. And
they really are.
What they did in the end of the season has been the kick in the pants that the International Rugby League has long needed.
Yeah, it really was. And it's, man, it makes looking towards the World Cup makes it really exciting.
Oh, it certainly does. Do you reckon they're a chance of winning the World Cup?
Definitely, yeah. I think that you never know about New Zealand because sometimes they turn up, but most of the time they don't. Australia is always going to turn up. England won't have a chance at all. They've got no chance in hell. I think it'll be up to how Fiji and PNG go. Samoa's not on the radar at the moment, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, if I'd say right now, it's between Tonga and Australia.
I'd love for Tonga to win.
Oh, man, it'd be so cool. Can you imagine the hero status? I mean, it'd be beyond hero status for the Tongan team if they won the World Cup.
Oh, absolutely. God, it'd be phenomenal. Utterly phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of phenomenal, there's an article on the NRL website today. Actually, it might have come out on yesterday. And it's titled, What the NRL Could Learn from the NFL and the NHL.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Let's have a look at this. So the first one is the NHL-style sin bin.
No.
I agree already.
How many times do we have to go through this? Like, if you make sin bin penalties lower, teams will just use it as a tactic. 5 minutes.
Yeah, so he says the solution is to borrow an idea from the NHL. When a player infringes in the NHL, they get sent to a penalty box for 2 or 5 minutes. 2 minutes.
Can you imagine
What's the
that?
point? Even 5 minutes is pointless. 10 minutes right now is not even proven to be that big of an issue.
Yeah, like teams get through it a lot more now than they used to.
Yeah.
And
They'll just sit there and they'll give away penalties on their line and just use their defence to just hold them down and slow the play down. And if they give away just a penalty goal or something like that, it's not a bad result.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that the article says is that in the NHL, a player will be sent to the penalty box and they'll be allowed to come out when the opposition team scores. And it's like, why do you want to give some sort of like pat on the back to a team that has infringed to the point where a player has had to be sent from the field? Like, we're not playing hockey.
Yeah, this is the problem. What if it's a game where a team scores within about 30 seconds after that player leaves the field, and then in another game, a player does exactly the same thing to get the same sin binning, and there's no points scored for the next 45 minutes of the match?
Yep. It's a good point. And I tell you the other thing, if you don't want to play sent to the sin bin, don't give away stupid penalties over and over again and get sent to the sin bin. Like, I don't understand why we're supposed to be trying to make it easier for you when you want to screw up the game.
Yeah, and I've always said that penalties should also serve as as a way to stop people from wanting to break rules. And I think the only way to do that is to have harsher penalties, not weaker ones.
Yep, 100%.
So they need to act as a deterrent. So instead of if 10-minute sin bins are not working, then and being sent off is too severe, then fuck it, make it a 15-minute sin bin or a 20-minute sin bin. Don't go back to 5 minutes. That's just going to get exploited like hell.
Yeah, that's only a couple of sets. If you're a smart team and you can get the ball back at some point, you can do a really, really slow set, kick into touch, someone gets a cramp. You can cut that game time right down 5 minutes. It'd just be used as a tactic. I don't want to see that at all.
And it's only 3 sets, pretty much.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, I don't like it when we overcomplicate rules. Like right now, if a player's sent to the bin for 10 minutes, it's like, well, they can come back in 10 minutes' time. I don't want it to be, oh, yeah, well, they're back in 5 minutes' time, but maybe if the other team scores, they can come back sooner and blah, blah. It's like, go away. Just get in the sin bin, sit down, put your hands in your head in your hands. Just Get out of there. We don't want you on the field. You
Yep.
broke the rules.
Exactly right. Now, the next one. Based on the NFL regular season, they suggest that we should have fewer games.
Okay.
To some extent, I kind of agree.
Yep.
I think the NFL is a bit of an extreme one because I think they've only got 16 games and then a bye round. I don't think 16 is workable. It needs to be more than that. I think 22 has always been the sweet number.
Yeah, same here. I'll tell you the other thing about the NFL. They have wanted to expand the number of games that they play for a while, and they kind of can't do it. So even the NFL doesn't feel like their current season is long enough.
That's right. I think if any competition needs to reduce the number of games they play, it's the English Super League.
Oh, yeah.
A 12-team comp with 394 rounds is just stupid. They got the perfect opportunity to have a 22-round competition where everyone plays each other twice, home and away, and then just have a top 5 or a top 6 final series, and bang, you're done. Perfect setup for that.
Yeah.
They've got this weird number of rounds, and they've got this top 8 thing, and only 4 teams miss out in the final. It's stupid.
But how about this? And this is a weird thing for me. This article comes from the NRL website saying, we need less games. Just do it then. Like, stop telling us what we need and just do it if you think it's that good. And so what's this article all about? Like, if this was some other media organisation or something, I'd be like, yeah, but the NRL's not going to change that. This is the NRL putting this stuff out. If they feel it's that good, do it.
Exactly. Next one. Divisions.
Now, look, divisions aren't going to work unless we have way more teams, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And you could have like a Sydney or a New South Wales division, and then I guess an expansion division, something along those lines. But like with 16 teams, there's no need for it.
Well, the way he wants to work this is divisions based on current rivalries. And I've heard this idea put before, and I always think it's utterly stupid because Roosters and South have got a rivalry.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear to see, too, that the Roosters and Storm have also built a rivalry because, they've been in the last 2 grand finals.
Well, look at Cronulla and the Storm.
Exactly. And this is the thing. Rivalries can start at any time.
Yeah.
And rivalries can end at any time.
There's
a fair chance that the rivalry between the West Tigers and the Dragons based on Western Suburbs and St. George is nothing like what those 2 teams had in the 50s and 60s.
Exactly. It's like Penrith and Parramatta. Parramatta, they're irrelevant. They haven't won a premiership since the 80s. There's no rivalry there. We've won 2, That's
right. And these rivalries come and go. And then you've got a team like the Titans. Who do they have a rivalry with?
Yeah.
I mean they've been... sorry, Titans fans, but they've spent most of their time losing games. You can't have a rivalry if you're spending most of your time losing games. The rivalry has got back and forth.
What about the North Queensland Cowboys? I mean, maybe a little bit with the Broncos, but who with anyone else? I don't really think they've got a rivalry with anyone else.
No. So anyway, he's put together 4 groups of 4 teams, and the way he'd work it is these teams in these groups would play each other twice, so you get these rivalry matches.
Yeah.
So Group 1's got the Roosters, the Rabbitohs, the Dragons, and the Sharks. Because the Sharks have such a great rivalry with the Roosters and the Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
The Eels, the Tigers, the Panthers, and the Bulldogs. Just what?
Yeah, it's just, let's chuck all the Western Sydney teams in.
And they don't have rivalries.
Not really, no. Like,
the Tigers don't have a rivalry with any of those sides. There's this perceived one between the Tigers and Panthers because Ivan Cleary left. That's hardly the basis for a rivalry.
No, and I think we saw that when they played. Remember the media was going off about that thing with,
Yes.
and all of the fans on Twitter were like, "What?
We don't care."
Yeah.
The Broncos, the Cowboys, the Titans, and the Storm. That's just basically the Queensland Origin selection group.
Yeah.
And then the Knights, Manly, Warriors, and Raiders. That's just who was left over.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, I would say the Raiders don't have a rivalry with any of those clubs at all.
I think what we've got at the moment, which is a bit random and not quite perfect, I'll be honest, but I think it's better than this idea.
Yeah, same here. I mean, the only thing that I would say, the only good thing that you could get out of a divisional setup, right, is you could, if you did it properly, and you'd need more teams, but if you did it properly, you could guarantee that you had enough Sydney-based teams and non-Sydney-based teams involved in the final series. So you don't get a situation where you've locked out, and it happens every so often, where you've locked out certain markets, because it's not good for the game when you do that. Like if you have no teams from Queensland right now in the finals, it's not good for the game. But you could set it up in a divisional setup where you did have way more of a chance to have teams in all of your key markets anyway. But that's down the track, and I mean, I know straight away that there'll be people saying, "Oh, the Sydney clubs get their own division and stuff," and it's like, yeah, they do. They're actually really important. And I think that the smart clubs elsewhere understand that the ideal setup you want for a grand final is basically, I mean, the perfect grand final is Brisbane versus Storm. We've seen that before. But outside of that, it's basically a big Sydney club versus anybody that's not a Sydney club.
Yeah.
That works ideal.
Exactly.
And that's look, I think if every grand final, that was what you were going to get every single time, a Sydney club versus a non-Sydney club, I think that would be fantastic for the game.
It would. Write the socks off the thing.
Yeah.
The next one is injury reports.
Mm-hmm.
He said the lack of transparency in the NRL affects the game, not to mention fantasy teams. But it can also lead to integrity issues. Does anyone really give a fuck if a player is not named in the squad and then they turn up from, recovered from injury miraculously and they play in the game? I haven't heard anyone really being that concerned about this ever.
No, and the way that the NRL is, I mean, you can't afford to drop games. So it's not like you're going to hold back a player if he's ready to rock and roll. And if a player is able to play, like, what's the problem? Like, if the other team's star player has just had a good end of the week and he's ready to rock, what's the negative in that? I don't understand it.
No, neither do I. Next one is video review, and he suggests that we should be like the NFL and have all scoring plays reviewed. The bunker is there. Let's use it to check.
I can't express how angry this makes me.
I'm rubbing my forehead. This is horrible.
Yeah, this is so bad.
I mean, I know Graham Adderley's sitting there going, "Oh, I love this."
Yeah.
He's rubbing his hands together. Oh, yes, please.
I remember when they brought in, or even it was before they brought in the video referee. And I remember hearing journalists saying, "Can you imagine everyone stops and we're all looking at that screen and we're watching the replay and we're like, ooh, did he score the try?" And then it comes up on the screen whether it's happened or not, and it'd be so exciting. And it's like the complete opposite. You're like, oh, they've gone to the screen again. Of course it's a try. Give it a try. Give it a try. Come on, why do you need to see it again? It's a try. And like, it's just frustrating. The idea that you would add more frustration to that is ridiculous. And to compare the NFL, which is a stop-start game, they literally have 45 seconds between plays. We don't have that. Stop trying to make us the NFL. This is not gridiron. It's got our sport is so different from gridiron in so many different ways. The only similar thing we really have is that we play on grass and that our ball is kind of a weird shape. That's it.
Yep. Fully agree. Can't argue with any of that. Now, his last one here is called tailgating.
Yep.
Huge part of the American sporting experience is the pre-game tailgate. It's a fancy word for a party in the car park. Fans arrive in advance of the game, don't enter the stadium, but instead invade the precinct with portable barbecues, family games, and TVs.
Can I say it, Andrew? Can I say it?
Go for it.
We've got no fucking parking for a tailgate. Where the fuck are we tailgating? There's no fucking parking.
Oh, I was going to say it, but I knew you'd do it.
I mean, look, I don't mind it. Just say you had parking, and I'm trying to think of the best place. The best place I could think of would maybe be Panthers Leagues Club, right? That's about as close as I can think where you've got a shitload of parking that you could do that with. And I know the last thing that the Panthers want is for people to turn up to the Leagues Club, not go in the Leagues Club, but sit out the back of their cars and fucking barbecue sausages. Like, it's the last.
Let me build you a hypothetical.
Okay.
It's a big game, okay? Yeah. West Tigers are playing. Who cares? It's at Leichhardt Oval.
Ooh.
There is nowhere to park, and there's no public transport there. So you're pretty much Joe Blow, who comes from somewhere other than Leichhardt. Let's say he's from Campbelltown because he's a West Tigers fan.
Yeah.
He wants to have a barbecue. So he's carting his barbecue on the train, and then off the train onto a bus, and then he's got to carry it off the bus and then walk the 3.9 kilometres up the hill to Leichhardt Oval, and then find somewhere to start his fucking barbecue. I
like the idea of going to Cogra and just starting a barbecue out the front of someone's fucking house. And they come out and they're like, dude, and it's all old people, you know. It's like, dude, what are you doing eating lunch outside of my house? It's like, it's all right, man. I'm tailgating.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
This is all sanctioned by the NRL, mate. It's all good.
Go the Dragons. Like, can you think of, and there's some place I haven't been, but can you think of a single stadium where it's properly set up that would work? Like, not Melbourne, right? Not the SFS. Definitely not Parramatta Stadium.
Maybe around Lang Park, but not all of it. Just part of it.
See, I didn't see the parking at Lang Park.
Oh no, you can't park there, but there's an area at the front there as you come in from the Milton end of the train station where you could probably set up barbecue stuff there around the walkway and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, have a snag with the statue of Wally, or maybe even with the one of Wayne Bennett that we mentioned in the last episode.
Yeah, and then you get like you say, you're setting it up that way. Then you get this place of like, well, how do we set up? Like, do you book a tailgating position so you can set up your barbecue, and like then you got to leave it behind? Like, look, I don't hate the idea. I just think, can we just start on having somewhere to park my car first, please? Yeah,
it's entirely impractical. Yeah. So the only ground I can think of that you could probably do it at is the MCG, and there's no games played there anyway.
Oh, really? Do they have parking at the MCG?
There's a bit out there because they allow people to park on the grass outside the stadium.
Yeah.
There's also a car park at one end, and you could have the barbecue on the other side of where the cars park on the grass there, and there's plenty of space around the stadium there.
The best parking in rugby league, without question, is in Leeds. You park on the football ground when you go into the cricket. You could tailgate there brilliantly.
Well, let's be honest, shall we?
Yeah.
You can do tailgating in England everywhere because those car parks are never going to be full anyway.
That's true. I'm trying to think. I don't think that Hull FC has much of a car park.
The Humber Bridge can be a car park at the best of times.
Imagine that, yeah. That'd be fucking cool, actually.
Just get out and just lock your car and just walk down. Just leave it on the bridge and just walk across. Though you don't have to pay the toll either.
When they built the Humber Bridge, right? Because, I mean, have you seen the Humber Bridge?
Yeah, I've been over it.
I've never been over it. I've just seen it, right? And it's spectacular. It's massive. And I often wonder, they probably didn't build it so that everyone could get to Hull, which means that they built it so everyone could get the fuck out of Hull.
Yeah, it's mostly to bypass it and go further north.
Yeah.
Problem is when you're coming from the north and you're going south, you got like Cleethorpes and some really dreary areas to the left, and you got to go right, which just takes you towards Huddersfield.
Yeah, no one wants that.
There you go.
That's where the road ends, in Huddersfield at a cul-de-sac.
This is very true.
Mm.
Well,
was that it? Is that all he had?
That's all he had.
Painting, jumping castles, adults only areas for beer, and a few big screens to catch the earlier game. Members only parties with appearances from injured players and celebrities. I can see that all working really well. Hey, get shit-faced with injured players in the adults only area where you're drinking beer and watching the under like 20s games or the reserve grade games, none of which they show anymore because they're all playing in different stadiums in different areas.
That's going to go down well with like 70 or 80 odd drunk men hanging around a bloke who's got a broken foot. Nothing bad's going to happen there.
No. And some idiot in the corner's got his propane, barbecuing some shit, not giving everyone salmonella while he does it. I don't know about you, but when I get absolutely tanked and do a barbecue, I hope you like your coal, because that's all you're getting to eat. It's like black. I can't control. I'm not cooking. I'm just standing there watching the food. It's like when I can hear the crispiness on the outside, it's like it's done.
If anyone wants to complain, you just grab a knife and just scrape the top layer of the black off, and it looks more like meat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I don't care. So long as it's not part of an animal that's still alive, I'll eat it.
Once I get drunk enough, I don't care about anything, hey? Like, I don't care about anything. It's really bad.
Yeah, I could ask for stories, but I'd rather not.
No, I can't tell them stories. I'm sorry.
That's fair enough. That wraps up a good episode.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Have we had any emails?
No. Oh, you know what? We did. When I think about it, because it was from we were going to record an episode. What was that? When was that? That was last week, and we didn't end up recording it. And
we've been doing a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, it's that time of the year. We've got things that we get involved with, and it's good fun. I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So, not that one. Not that one.
Have you got spam?
We got some Merry Christmas stuff.
Oh,
okay. Yeah,
bring it on.
People send a Merry Christmas one. So, we had one from Thomas. And he said, and he did it as Merry Christmas too, which was very nice, because remember we said we wanted people to send Merry Christmas emails to us. And he said, listening to your podcast from yesterday and your request for emails, boom, he sorted that already. He said an idea for the future show is investigating the history between Souths changing the geographical barriers at the council in the 1950s to make areas such as Maroubra and Coogee, which were clearly the heart of Eastern Suburbs territory, South's junior areas. And he said that we should look into doing an episode about that. Gives us a little bit more information. He sent us 2 emails, actually, with a little bit more information. I need to get up off my ass. This is something that, I mean, how many months have I been talking about getting a map of the junior areas? Like 4, 5?
Yeah, 4 to 5.
Lazy bastard. So yeah, that's my fault. So I've got to sort that out.
That's good.
There's some more. Where the fuck have they gone?
We had an email from Carsten Brummer.
Yes. I can't even find it. What the hell's happened to them?
Well,
yeah, tell us about the Carsten Brummer one.
Yeah. Did we edit out that part of the conversation in the live episode where we had him on?
Yeah, we didn't post it at all, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we had to can the whole thing.
We had a rather amusing conversation with Carsten Brummer watching an International Rugby League game in Europe. It was a bit over a month ago.
Yeah.
Carsten came on and started, because he's German.
Yep.
The conversation turned to France. So he was just telling us about his holiday plans and how he was planning, showed us a map of, where he was going to go in France. So enjoy your travels, Carsten.
Yeah.
Don't get into any mischief, and don't make a mess on your way there.
That's what Belgium looks like on your way.
Yeah, don't upset anyone in Poland.
No.
We'll leave that there.
Yeah, we got to stop there.
It's going to get messy.
You know what? I had some more. I don't know what's happened to them. It looks like they've disappeared out of my inbox. But there was a couple of people. There was another person that sent an email. There was a couple of them that sent Merry Christmas one. So thank you. I did read them, but it was last week. I don't know if my email box has been trimmed or something. I've got no idea. But yeah, I can't find them now, which is kind of weird.
Well done. How many do you reckon there would have been? 30? 40?
At least. At least. Yeah.
That's generous.
I stopped counting after 3.
That's fair enough too.
Yeah. So send us more Merry Christmas emails. That'd be wonderful. And we'll see if I can manage to not have them deleted in some mass deletion problem. I don't know what's happened here. It's kind of weird.
Or to save that, you could just send them to our Twitter account, Fergo Freak Pod.
Yeah.
Send us a Merry Christmas on there, and we'll read it out.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you can check us out. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook.
God, we're on everything. Yeah. We're looking forward to Christmas. We're going to do some more episodes. We've got some history episodes coming up, which will be a lot of fun. Obviously, the footy news has slowed down quite a bit because everyone's off, I don't know, waiting to get bail. That's how rugby league works these days.
Well, that and people are behaving themselves.
I know, for the most part, anyway. You watch it. Watch it all go downhill now.
It'll go stupid in January. It always does.
Yeah.
So
I always like the ones where, I always like the ones where it's like about the 3rd of January or something, and then the stories come out from what happened on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
They're always good.
Did pretty well though getting through Mad Monday, so they must be putting a few in the bank for a massive New Year's party.
You would hope so.
I think Penrith might be one that's in trouble because I reckon Trent Barrett's a bit of a party boy.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I'm still getting over the tailgating, hey?
You can't look like that and not be a bit of a party animal.
I tell you what, if somebody had to dress up as Kiss, he'd be the place to go to with all that makeup and shit.
He's a gorgeous man.
Yeah, he is.
Pity you can't coach for shit, but he's a very good looking
man. You can coach, just ask him.
Well, that's true. Although he never got out the old, suggestions box like Paul McGregor did.
Yeah.
You should have done that. You'll know better next time.
That was brilliant.
Don't spend all your budget on plastic chairs from Bunnings. Make sure you save a little bit to put a little suggestions box aside.
Yeah. And then make sure that, you sit down with the players whose careers you have. You literally can pick them and sack them and sign them and say, so what do you reckon? Am I a good coach or not? Am I the problem?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Because that's always going to work well.
Yeah.
See, Trent, we're here to help.
Yeah, we're trying to forward the game of rugby league by helping Trent Barrett.
Exactly. We'll get him a head coaching gig somewhere.
Telling you, Warriors, you had the right idea. Send him to New Zealand.
New Zealand. And on that note, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We've got a few history episodes coming up, so look forward to getting those into your ears as well. And we'll catch you later.